What's up again, everybody? I'm Clayton. Welcome to the pack. So today we're going to be looking at Child's Play, the remake from 2019, directed by Lars Klevberg, I think is how you pronounce his last name, starring Mark Hamill as Chucky, voicing Chucky, and Gabriel Bateman playing Andy. So going to get into this review, give my thoughts, positives, negatives. You guys know the deal. Just as a reminder, everybody, this is just my opinion. All right. No need to be upset or offended by anything I have to say. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section on the Child's Play remake. Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think? And what do you think of my review? Do you think I'm just on crack? Do you think I'm spitting truth bars? Let me know in the comment section. Also, while you're here, hit that like button, you freaks. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. Helps the channel out, and you get to be part of the pack. What's up? All right, so let's get into this review. It's the last one. We're wrapping up our Child's Play review series now. I gotta say, overall, I think I've given more positive reviews to these movies than negatives. I think there's only been a couple of films in this franchise that I gave a negative review to. I think most of them have been positive. So yeah, Child's Play overall, I would say, is a good franchise. And this is the final one. So just jumping right in here to the positives. There are some things I do like with this remake. It is different. I'm not someone that always thinks being different is better. I feel like there's some people out there where just because a film does something different, that automatically makes it a good film. I'm not one of those people. I don't think different automatically means better. Sometimes, the idea, the concept that you have, while it may be different, may still not be a good idea or a good concept. So I'm not someone that just thinks different automatically means good or better. It's what you do with that idea and what that idea is, what that concept is. Does it fit with the franchise? Does it fit for the characters? And how well is it executed? Here, I do think they pull it off. I do think they pull it off. They don't try to do a carbon copy and paste remake of the original, which I like. They remade it, but they had a different idea about how they wanted to go about telling this story. And I can appreciate that. And I do think they pulled it off. There are issues I have with this film. I'll get into those when I get to the negatives. But I do like that they were at least showing some ingenuity, that, they didn't just have a messy idea in their head and just threw it onto a script and made a movie out of it. You can tell that they did think through their idea and their concept, and they actually had a story in the script that they were trying to tell. This is a film that does actually have something to say, I would argue, and actually has, a commentary on friendship and on, childhood and raising your children. This is a film that it has layers there, and that's something I do like. I do appreciate. I do like when a horror film puts an actual story in the script. Isn't just about jump scares or, the slashy, stabby stab type of stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love slasher films, but I always appreciate when horror films kind of add an actual story to their script and actually have something to say. And I do think that this film does that. I do think there is a story within the script that the writers and the filmmakers here are trying to pursue. And I do like that with this movie and appreciate that. I like that it did have a plot. between Andy and Chucky. You know, Andy wanted a friend. He wanted to kind of be accepted by this new place where where they're living. They moved to this new place. He's trying to fit in. He's trying to have a friend. That's his goal, is kind of to have a friend, find, you know, someone that was going to be there for him. And he finds Chucky, and he kind of works with Chucky, teaching him things and basically developing Chucky into his friend. Chucky then turns around and has his own plot of trying to make Andy like him. So I kind of like how this film plays out. It starts with Andy's plot and developing Andy's plot, and then once that goal is reached and that plot is kind of completed, then it turns into Chucky's plot, and Chucky now has a goal that he's trying to achieve, and it kind of, you know, follows Chucky's plot along the way until that comes to a climax. So it's an interesting way to develop plot in this film, and I think that shows that these writers, filmmakers here, actually thought through what it was they were doing, and it shows competency, and that's something that I liked and appreciated. The acting, I did like Bateman here playing Andy. I do think he did a good job. You know, I do think he brought some emotion to that character, some charm for that character. The scenes where you're supposed to kind of feel bad for the kid, I did feel bad for him. And yeah, I liked Bateman's performance as Andy in this one. I also like that he was a little bit older than Alex Vincent was in the first one. Bateman was old enough here in this one to kind of carry the film. I do think he still needed some help, and they gave him that, but he was still able to kind of carry this film and did a good job with it. So he was good. I liked Mark Hamill voice acting here as Chucky. Mark Hamill's a legend, bro. I mean, can we just be honest? Mark Hamill, that dude is he's a beast. One of the best voice actors of all time, in my opinion. I mean, he was the voice of Joker in the Batman animated series. I mean, he's a beast, man. And I did like his voice acting as Chucky. You know, he wasn't trying to copy Brad Dourif. You know, he knew that he needed to make the character his own, give his own unique sound and style and cadence to the Chucky character, and he did that. He pulled that off. So all respect to my boy Mark Hamill, rolling up into the Chucky franchise like a big bowl of China shot, metaphorically knocking vases over. And yeah, he did a good job. So kudos to my man Hamill on that. Also, the kills I like, man. They definitely upped the ante with the kills. Some pretty gnarly kills, bro, in this one. It kind of takes a while to build to the kills, but once you get into them, they're pretty sick. There's some pretty sick kills in this film. My favorite being with the janitor guy that's down in the basement working on Chucky, and he's hanging from the pipe on the ceiling, and the blade, that table saw, is going underneath him, and Chucky's heating up the pipe that he's hanging on to, so he has a choice to either burn his hands off or just fall and get chopped up. And that's a gnarly kill, dude. That's a savage kill. And I loved it, just building the tension there, waiting. You know it's gonna happen. He's got to let go at some point. And when he does, you know, they give it to you. They definitely they pay off that kill well. I'm so glad that they don't just cut to another scene once the guy drops. Like, they actually set up the kill and they pay it off. And I like that they did that. So that's probably my favorite kill of the film. But the kills overall, I thought were pretty well handled and pulled off nicely. So I also like that there are no false finishes in this film. Thank you. It's not that hard to do. You don't need multiple false finishes in a horror film to end the movie well. and this film didn't do that. They give you one clean, clear-cut finish to the film, and it still worked. That's the thing. It works. You don't need multiple, false finishes in your film. And I'm glad that this film didn't carry those over from the first film. Like the first film had like 2 or 3 false finishes. It's like, dude, let's wrap this crap up. Look, come on, we got places to be. So this one doesn't have that, and I like it. So yeah, the no false finishes, clean, clear cut ending was another positive for me. I also like the tone as the tone shifts, like the first half when we're following Andy's plot, it's kind of this lighter tone, because Andy's a very amiable character, that's you're kind of pulling for him. But then when the second half comes and it starts to become more of Chucky's story and Chucky's plot, the tone darkens. And as the story and the narrative now focuses on Chucky and his plot, they take that lighter tone and they darken it for Chucky's side of the story. And I like that they did that. I thought that was really well done and well handled. So that was another thing that I liked. Moving into the negatives now, and I do have some bones to pick with this film. One of them was, while I did like that they were trying to do something different with the Chucky character, making him an AI instead of a possessed spirit inside the doll, I also think it in some ways it works against it, because part of what made Chucky really good was Charles Lee Ray and getting his personality coming through the doll. We don't get that in this film. He's just an AI. So there's not really a personality to like with Chucky. And that's something that I felt was lacking in this film, that I wasn't a fan of. Mark Hamill still did a good job in the voice acting of the AI, but with the Chucky as it was through the first 7 films, you got Brad Dourif as Chucky. Like, you got his personality, and it made Chucky more memorable. It made him you like him more because there's that personality, that charm, one-liners, all that stuff. I think this movie misses that, and that's something that is a setback for me, is not having that personality come out of Chucky. Also, me personally, I know a lot of you would probably disagree, and that's totally fine. This is totally a subjective preference thing. For me personally, I don't find an AI robot doll as horrifying as an actual person. One reason is because people are unpredictable. AIs aren't. Like, if you program an AI, you can figure it out. Andy figured it out. And Andy was single-handedly able to beat Chucky in this one. He wasn't able to do that in the original films. Like, he needed help, quite a bit of it. Here, he was basically able to beat the AI doll single-handedly. The AI doll's also not going to have, human-like strength that Chucky had in the original run, being possessed by the spirit of Charles Lee Ray. So I find that a human spirit in the doll is more frightening than just a programmed AI doll that you can beat easier, in my opinion. It's also a little bit more believable, because like Chucky, the AI here, he doesn't have emotions, and that was what was kind of weird. Like, just because there was a malfunction in the putting the doll together doesn't mean that this AI is now going to have emotions. That there's a bit of incoherency there. There's been a lot of toys over the years that had malfunctions to them. They didn't just all of a sudden develop emotions because there's a malfunction in the putting together of the toy, So, that was a little bit. I don't think they landed that as well as they may have wanted to or were trying to. And I just think that making him an AI, while there are certain things that work for that, I think there's more of a negative setback there because you don't have the personality of Charles Lee Ray. It's not as scary, it's not as terrifying, and quite frankly, it's easier to beat than the spirit of a serial killer who's also more unpredictable. So that to me was a pretty significant setback in this film. Also, I felt that Karen, Andy's mom here, wasn't nearly as well handled or written or even acted as Karen in the original film was. This one by Aubrey Plaza, played by Aubrey Plaza, felt flat for some reason. She didn't bring that kind of energy to the screen that I felt the mom did in the first one. Like, for whatever reason, maybe it's just me, but for whatever reason, I didn't really feel like this actress even wanted to be in this film. Like, she just had this kind of very mundane type of vibe about her. I also don't think she really played a significant role in this film. I mean, the only purpose that she actually served was getting Andy the doll. But there's a number of other ways that could have happened if you take her out of this film. She's not the hero of the story. She doesn't save Andy at the end. She doesn't provide him any important piece of information in the film that he needed to develop his plot or story. So it's like, if you take her out of this film, there's not really anything that would change, that you couldn't just fill the blank in with something else, if that makes sense. So I feel like she was kind of a wasted character to a degree. And I also just didn't really buy her performance. I didn't get that energy that that energy where she makes me like her or makes me root for her type of thing. She's just kind of came across as this lady that's just doesn't like her job, just sleeping around with different guys. And it's just like, okay, cool. You're just here for presence because Andy needs a parent or a supervisor of some sort. So let's just put her here. But yeah, I felt she was a significant letdown from Andy's mom in the original. I also felt that the middle act for me was a bit slow. The first act was kind of interesting, learning about, the AI and what's going on, seeing how Chucky gets to Andy and all that stuff. And then the ending was really well handled as well. But the middle act, I found myself getting a little bored, a little restless, to a degree, not significantly, but there was a little bit of a pacing issue there for me where I did get a little bit bored with it. So yeah, that was another kind of setback for me. And the side characters, I also wasn't really invested in, didn't really care about. So yeah, overall, guys, I'm going to give this film 2.5 stars. To me, this is the definition of a decent film. This isn't, I wouldn't say that I like this film necessarily, but I also wouldn't say that I dislike this film. I think it kind of just falls right there in the middle for me, 2.5 stars. It's not a film that I need to watch again. If I never see this film again, I would be okay with that. But it's also not a film that I would actively try to avoid and try to not watch. It's one of those films where it's like, okay, if I have to watch it, I can watch it. But I'm not going to really have an urge to watch it. I'm not going to really go out of my way to watch it again. So yeah, I think Chucky was a significant several steps down from the Brad Dourif version of that character. And none of the surrounding characters I really cared much for, so that me caring for the characters didn't quite land. And while there was a story there, it wasn't necessarily a story that I felt was executed enough to a degree to really buy me in and make me invest in it. So there you go. Not a bad film, and not by far not the worst in this franchise by far. But I also didn't quite like it enough to say that this is a film that I enjoyed. Had things going for it. There were things I did like, but overall, yeah, that's where I land on it. That's it, guys. Those are my thoughts on the Child's Play remake. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. That's a wrap on the Chucky franchise. We got some more stuff coming at you in the future. Thanks for being here, and until next time, kick it and rock on.